front of him. And so my dad was like, gotta love the dollar menu. I was like that. But,
I guess also that's an action of trust. Like, you're trusting that person with your money. Like,
yeah.
some people are hesitant to trust people they know really well with their money. So,
Yeah.
a complete stranger.
And some people just don't like to share. I don't understand. Like,
Oh yeah, there's that too.
did your parents not teach you how to share when you were small? I've seen some people who are just like, just comes to like food, and they have like 3 tacos, and they're like, oh, I'm not even gonna eat it. And I'm like, oh, well, she didn't get a taco. Like, she didn't have money to buy one. Do you want? She's like, oh, no, I'll eat it for lunch. Oh, okay, so I split my taco. I only bought 1 taco, and I split it in half, and I gave it to that girl. Because, it sucks because we used to have, like, taco parties for my choir, and, um, we would buy our own tacos, though. And so some people would get some and some people wouldn't because they didn't have money to buy their own tacos. And sometimes the teacher would have enough money and she would get extra ones, but sometimes she didn't. She didn't have enough. So usually one of us would give, one of our tacos, or if we bought 2 or 3, or if we got full, or, we would, somehow we'd always find tacos for everyone. But that day, like, I guess it was a bad pay week or something, and a lot of us just bought 1 taco, or she was just kind of sitting there. I mean, it's 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm pretty sure everyone's equally hungry, And I was just like, well, I ate a big breakfast, so I don't even know why I ate this morning, but you can have half of my taco. And she was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, man. So it was a lie. I mean, I hadn't eaten breakfast, but like, you just do that. I mean, I don't know, I empathize. I understand. Dude, if I didn't have a taco, I would feel sad
Yeah.
and left out. And it's not even like we're old enough where we could probably make it till 12 o'clock, for lunch without passing out from
Yeah.
hunger. I'm pretty sure we would have been okay. But it's not even that. Like there, he was talking about food as a social.
Oh yeah,
It's
he
like,
was.
um, y'all are eating, so I want to eat too. It's kind of
Like,
kind of
food
that.
is like gathering around the dinner table, I suppose. You
Yeah.
could say.
And I don't know. I always feel like that. Like, if I'm eating, even if I don't really have a lot, I'm like, oh, do y'all want some? Like, I feel terrible eating in front of people when they're not eating. And like, sometimes it's kind of hard when you live in with a big family, because I'm like, I have $5. I could buy my mom and myself some hamburgers, but I wouldn't have enough for everyone else. So there's 8 people in my house. What am I gonna do? So I mean, sometimes it's just like, I just go without, just like eat a sandwich at home or something, because I feel so bad walking in and being like, carrying my Burger King bag and all that good smelling stuff and walk by, and my grandma and grandpa are like, like,
Yeah.
is there one for me? And I'm like, yeah, no. I feel terrible when that happens, so I'm just like, yeah, I'll just wait or something, or I find money somewhere else. Because for me, like, in my family, it really is a social thing. Like, we all go sit and eat together.
Yeah, like, if someone's eating, then sometimes they'll just be sitting there eating, and someone will walk by and be like, oh, hey, you're eating. I'll talk with you while you're eating.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, sometimes you don't even have to eat with them. You just kind of keep them company.
Yeah.
That's what I'm like, I'm gonna go eat. Did you eat? My mom's like, yeah, I already ate. Okay, I guess I'll like, go eat by myself. And she's like, I'll come with you. And I'm like, okay. Or I'll take my plate, like, and sit down on the bed next to her while if she's watching something, and I'll like, oh, not on the bed, but like on the little desk there. Cause I don't know, I feel weird eating by myself. That used to happen sometimes when I was in high school, because I would wake up super early, and so no one else is awake, and I would just be like eating my cereal. Like, it's kind of depressing sitting there by yourself in the big kitchen with a big old table and no one else there. That's why I don't like to really, even here, small thing, I don't like to eat lunch by myself. if my friends aren't available or no one's available, I'll just wait. I'm like, I'm hungry, but I'll wait. I don't know.
It is kind of depressing eating by yourself, though. Like, if you don't know anyone and you're just sitting there and you see other people sitting with people that you know, and you're like, oh.
Or like, I see people like when they go to Whataburger and like they go and they just go in and sit down by themselves and eat. I'm like, wow, how can you do that? I don't know. It feels so awkward just sitting there by myself eating at Whataburger while everyone else is like with family and friends and like co-workers. I don't know. Like everyone always goes in groups or at least twos, and it scared me. But I don't know. And I remember my psychology teacher in high school told us that women will sit in a spot where they can look at other people while they're eating if they're eating alone, while men will sit with their backs to people when they're eating alone. Like they don't want to see them. Like I'm
That's
just here.
interesting.
I'm just here to eat. Nothing else. But women will be like, while they're eating, just kind of like watching everyone. And I've watched a couple times and people, and he is right from what I had seen. I hadn't seen like any variations. He was pretty much right about that. And I was like, you're a stalker. No, I'm just kidding. He just like to observe people. But it's interesting how that happens. I always do that if I'm eating by myself. Like if my friend goes to get a drink and I'm eating, I feel myself watching people. And I'm like, oh, stop staring. But I can't help it. Like they're interacting, and so right away I want to watch the interaction. I don't want to like focus on my hamburger or out the window or something. I don't know.
But yeah, I noticed now that you mentioned that eating being like a social like activity, like sometimes I'll go out with people
Mhm.
and we'll just like eat at some cheap restaurant, but it'll be good because we're all like eating and talking.
Mhm.
So like late at night when everyone should be asleep or studying, but we're not. We're eating at the restaurant. So just stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like one time I went on this completely random food run with some people. They were like, "Let's go get some food."
Mhm.
12 at night.
Mhm.
So that just brought to mind
Yeah.
how food kind of draws people together in that sense.
Sure. And I wonder if that's because originally, like, it was something that we all needed to survive, so we all just kind of clung together over it. And if you just like evolved and became something that's a social, you know,
That's interesting.
because I mean, in my family, like my grandma makes food, and if she makes food, we're all gonna eat that same food because she makes like enough for everyone, right? Every time she just makes big quantities, no matter what. So, as soon as she says she's done, everyone just kind of gathers. And well, I mean, we're all sitting in the kitchen. We're not just gonna eat like quietly. They're staring at our spoons, so like we all start talking, and we're interacting, and things are going on, and but like first of all, we're there for the food. We haven't eaten. This is lunch. There for the food, but it turns into a social thing, and it's just something that happens so often that we're just so accustomed to that now I can't eat by myself without feeling a little weird.
Yeah.
Because you must think people who live in solitude, or maybe like if it's just a young couple, they don't have like kids or anything, and the man goes off to work or the woman goes off to work early, like that other person would be accustomed to eating by themselves in the morning. So maybe they would get used to it after time. And it wouldn't be like, they wouldn't feel weird going to Whataburger and eating by themselves because they do it at home all the time.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, I guess maybe it's relative, to what you're used to. But, I don't know. Hmm. And like he was saying that we don't just want food, we want good food.
yeah, he was saying like people who are used to eating something, like there's this food level and there's this food level. They're not content with eating at this food level, even though it's enough to keep them alive and suit their nutritional needs. They really want this food level.
And sometimes that food level, the higher one, is actually less nutritional
Yeah,
than.
like even if it's not as nutritional, they still want it because it tastes good, it looks good.
I can understand that.
I have a cheesecake in my fridge right now.
Leah, what did you just say? We all just run. No, but it's true. If there's cheesecake and then there's celery.
Which one are you going to pick, really?
I know. I mean, you're just like, well, that's gross. And I would just eat the cheesecake. And I'd be like, yep, I feel better. I mean, you can't help it. Especially sometimes when food is pretty. Like when it's colorful.
I know. Like those wedding cakes on the Food Network. You're like, oh my gosh, I would totally eat that. Just after like just staring at it for a little while.
And like one thing that I like about like different cooking styles and whatever is sometimes the food's so colorful, like Mexican food, you know, like when you have like the rice and then like the peppers and everything just mixed in, or when we would get Chinese food, they would have the sweet and sour chicken, how it has like the cherries and the pineapple. And I was like, when I first got it, I was like, it's so pretty 'cause all the different colors and like it smelled so good. I was just sitting there like soaking it up, and my friends were like, are you gonna eat or are you just gonna gawk at it? And I was like, I'm sorry, this is my first time eating Chinese food, I need to relish the moment. And they were like, shut up and eat. So whatever, for them, they were used to it. It was just about getting the good food into the stomach.
Yeah.
And they were super hungry too. I wasn't as hungry as they were, but I don't know, like sometimes I'm just like, I see things, or like if I make things, like I made those ghost cupcakes.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's so cute. I don't even want to eat it. I just want to stare at it. I want to hug it. Is that weird? My friend was like, if you hug that cupcake. But like, you know, I was like, it's so cute. I know. Nah. And then we just ate it because, well, it's chocolate. So, but sometimes that happens. You like it for, what is it, like aesthetic? Like,
yeah.
It's just pretty. It's cool. Like my aunt got me one time for Christmas. It was you know how they have like those like for Easter they have bunnies and they're chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, she got me one, but it was a penguin, and so it was
penguin.
white. Yeah, it was a white chocolate with the dark chocolate, and then it had like a little, it had the beak and a little snow hat. It was so cute, and I was like, I don't want to eat it. She was like, what? I bought this big old thing of chocolate, and you're not even gonna eat it? And I left it there for a while. I just would like look at it, and I was like, oh, and I put it back in the freezer. And then finally my cousin saw it, and he was like, chocolate! And I was like, fine, let's do it. And we just broke it all apart and handed it out and ate little pieces. And my mom did that for me for Easter. She got one of those really fancy white chocolate eggs, and it's like hollow.
Oh.
But it had like flowers, like different colored flowers all drawn, and I was like, it's so pretty. And my mom was like, oh, are you gonna eat it? And I was like, no, not today. And then the next day she was like, yeah, your chocolate's been calling to me. And I was like, don't you dare eat it. Like, it took me a while to finally, okay, let's break the egg. And so we all broke it. And my dad was like, yes. My whole family was like all excited. Yeah, we get the chocolate. I was like, so sometimes it's just too pretty. And I worry about the whole image. We don't want to look like this, so we starve ourselves. But sometimes the food is so pretty itself that we don't want to eat it.
Yeah, that's true.
Can you imagine someone who is actually hungered, you know, like they're hungry, not just like, oh, I haven't eaten breakfast yet, but like seriously hunger. I mean, they would attack me and take my dumb egg. Like, are you stupid or what? You know, like it's food, eat it. And I'd be like, whoa. But I mean, I can understand that. Like sometimes when I'm hungry, I don't even look at the food. I'm just like, I'm that hungry, and I like skipped a meal. Or sometimes at home, like we leave the house really early, so we don't eat breakfast, and then we don't get when it's not even like lunch, it's like almost dinner.